At first, Bernstein was disappointed. He had hoped to study with the great Rudolf Serkin.
So I was told what, at the time, I considered very bad news, that I had not made it to Rudy Serkin, but that a certain Madame Vengerova would be my piano teacher. Groan. And so, groaning, I went to my first piano lesson with her. And she turned out to be a veritable tyrant. She sat there and said, all right, now, play me that Bach fugue that you played at your audition. Go ahead. And she stopped me after a few bars. Said, why are you banging that way? Why are you kicking the pedal? Why is the pedal down at all? You're playing Bach. Listen to your left hand. It's drowning out your right hand. If you were conducting this in your class with Dr. Reiner, you'd never let an orchestra do what you're doing now at the piano. You're not listening to yourself. You have to listen to yourself the way you would listen to an orchestra on the podium. And you have to be critical. And you have to... She scared the daylights out of me. So I left this lesson absolutely trembling with an assignment to learn the Pastoral Sonata of Beethoven in D. I came in shaking, not daring to touch the pedal, as you can see. She stopped me. She said, doesn't it say piano? Doesn't it say legato? I said, yes, but I was afraid to put the pedal down. She said, well, make legato with your fingers. I said, but I can't because it goes... How do you make that legato? Now, I have only these 4 fingers. She said, stop! You have all the fingers you need to make legato. And I'll show you where you can make pedal when the fingers can't do it by themselves. Anyway, this detailed, harsh, tyrannical work went on week after week. I came to every lesson in a sweat and trembling, left every lesson a little less trembling and a little encouraged. The second year was glorious because by then I understood what she was after. She had taught me to get into the keys. She had taught me how to break my wrists, how to keep my shoulders down, how to relax so that you could get a beautiful sound and not freeze up and not tense up and not play this way, but to play that way. And I think that I owe her an enormous debt.
Lukas Foss, composer, conductor, and pianist, has his own memories of Isabelle Vengerova.
Oh, she was wonderful. So was her cat. They was always sitting on the piano, staring at me as I was playing the piano. What made her so wonderful was that she made people like Lenny and me practice. I mean, we were bad boys. We wouldn't practice. We had too much fun doing all the things in music. But not to come unpracticed to class was to give her a heart attack. We couldn't do that. It got her too emotionally upset, so we had to practice. There's nothing student-like about him. He always knew more than the teachers, and I liked that. And also, I had come from Paris and Germany before, and I was new to this country, and he was almost like a teacher to me. He would correct my English. He would say, no, Lucas, it's not theatralic, it's theatrical. But Koussevitzky said theatrical. Never mind what Koussevitzky said. Believe me, it's theatrical. So he would also explain jokes to me because I was very naive, and Lenny was never naive.
Take the lessons in the plastique.
Thank God I didn't believe him. Did you believe him?
Bernstein and the German-born Foss have been friends for 50 years, ever since they were fellow students at Curtis. Both studied conducting with the autocratic Hungarian maestro, Fritz Reiner.
I remember auditioning for One More Thing, as if he had said anything. One more thing. Don't you think you are young? You're almost too old to learn how to conduct.
From Reiner, Bernstein received a solid academic grounding in stick technique and the preparation of musical scores. Within a year, he was lucky enough to be accepted to study with the Russian Serge Koussevitzky, whose conducting style couldn't have been more different from Reiner's. In 1940, Koussevitzky opened his school at the Boston Symphony's summer home, Tanglewood. Since his school days, Bernstein had admired Koussevitzky. Now he was his first pupil, and a surprisingly stubborn one.
In those days, I didn't use a baton at all. And he pleaded with me to use his little baguette, as he called it. Look, it's like a pencil, just a little baguette. Lenushka, just take little baguette. It is very much clearer when you use little baguette. Reiner, of course, had insisted that we use his baton, which was enormously long, and on which he depended. He hardly ever made a movement with his body. It was this stick, this magic point at the end of his baton, which made 100 people play in the most extraordinary way. I knew that whole technique. Koussevitzky decided at the end of the first week that what we all needed was lessons in what he called die plastique. And so he engaged somebody from the nearby Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival, somebody who was a dancer or a choreographer, something, to come and give us lessons in the plastique, which meant that we had to stand and then go through certain exercises of beautiful legato movements, and we had to stand in a certain way, and all this involved looking into a mirror. We were all supposed to practice staring into a mirror in order to make sure that I did this one day by myself, and I fell about with such laughter that I couldn't repeat it. That was the only time I've ever conducted in front of a mirror.